Hello students, in this particular video we are going to study the second method to solve system of linear equation, and that method is called as Gauss-Seidel method. So let us consider one example. X plus 10y plus minus 2z is equal to 16. 3x plus y plus 15z is equal to 52, and 12x minus 2y plus 3z is equal to 18. This is the system of equation. Let us write it in Ax is equal to b form, and with that we can write that a11 is 1, a12 is 10, a13 is minus 2, b1 is 16, a21 is 3, a22 is 1, a23 is 15, b2 is 52, a31 is 12, a32 is minus 2, a33 is 3, and b3 is equal to 18. Now this is not in a partially pivoted form. Okay, so in this particular method we need to use any one equation to separate a variable. Let us say this is a system. Okay, so in this particular system we have chosen this particular equation number 1 to separate out what is x. So x can be written as 18 plus 2y minus 3z divided by 12. Similarly, y can be written with the help of second equation. Y could be written like 16 minus x plus 2z is equal to 10. Okay, so here what we did is that this is the system which is given, and this is the system which is in a partially pivoted format. Now, how it is in partially pivoted format? You can check that in the first column, the 12 is the largest element. So because of that, we have shifted the third row as a first row. Now in second column, you know that uh, this in the second column, this 10y is the maximum element which could be possible. So because of that, what we did is that we shifted the second row as a third row. So this will make this particular system is rearranged in this format, such that this particular matrix which we are going to write is going to get a diagonally dominant matrix. Now what is diagonally dominant matrix? Diagonally dominant matrix means the matrix which has the diagonal elements of the matrix are maximum in that corresponding row. Okay, so here you could observe that this is 12 is maximum in this particular column, this 10 is maximum in this particular column, and this 15 is maximum in this particular column. So this matrix becomes a diagonally dominant matrix. This is how we have partially pivoted this matrix. Okay, so with this first equation we can write what is x, with this second equation we can write what is y, and with this third equation we can write what is z. Now this particular method will start with the iteration point with the iterations as 0, 0 and 0. Okay, so here what we can write is that x1 is equal to, let us put the value of y and z to find out the new value of x in the iteration number 1. So x1 will be 18 plus 2 into 0 minus 3 into 0 divided by 1.2, that gives you x1 value as 1.5. Similarly, while calculation of y1, you are going to use the same value of x1 which you just have calculated as a x. So it will be 16 minus 1.5 plus 2 into 0 be divided by 10. So this will give 1.45, okay, as y1. Now you use the same values of x1 and y1 we just have calculated to calculate the z1. So z1 will be given by 52 minus 3 into 1.5 minus y is 1.45 divided by 15, that is 3.07. Now for the second iteration you choose these values which you have got, that is 1.5, 1.45 and 3.07, and you again find out the value of x2, y2 and z2 respectively. So here what we observe is that while calculation of x2, you put value of y1 and z1, that is the value of previous iteration, while calculation of y2, you take value of x2 and z1, that is also of previous iterations. Similarly, while calculation of z2, you use the value of x2 and y2, okay, to get the z2. Similarly, for iteration number 3, you can use the value which you just have got, that is x2, y2 and z2, okay. While calculation of x3, you will use y2 and z2. While calculation of y3, you will use x3 and z2. While calculation of z3, you will use x3 and y3. Now iteration number 4, while calculation of iteration number 4 and while calculation of x4, you will use value of y3 and z3. Then while calculation of y4, you will use x4 and z3. While calculation of z4, you will use x3 and y3. Likewise, x4 and y4 current. Okay. Uh, in iteration number 5, you will use the value of x4, y4 and z4. So here you will observe that after certain point, the average what you can say, the difference between the consecutive iterations is going to get reduced, and when it comes less than 0.001, that is let us say 0.001 is the given accuracy range. So if it comes below that, you need to stop. That is absolute value of x5 minus x5 minus x6 has to be less than 0.001. Then absolute value of y5 minus y6 has to be less than 0.001. Then absolute value of z5 minus z6 has to be less than 0.001. Then it will stop. Otherwise, in your numerical, it will be given that you need to do 5 iterations or 6 iterations depending on the situation. So let us consider this second example. In this second example also, x1 plus 10x2 minus 4x3 is equal to 6, 2x1 minus 4x2 plus 10x3 is equal to minus 15, 9x1 plus 2x2 plus 4x3 is equal to 20. So let us let us arrange this particular matrix in a diagonally dominant format. So it will make this third equation as the first equation. So 9x1 plus 2x2 plus 4x3 is equal to 20 is the first equation. Now for the second equation, we need to check which is the maximum coefficient. Okay. So if we declare this equation as the first equation, then we need to check that out of these two, which could be the second equation. So for this x2, you could see that the maximum magnitude is there in this first equation. So we shifted this first equation to second equation. X1 plus 10x2 minus 4x3 is equal to 6, and the remaining equation is 2x1 minus 4x2 plus 10x3 is equal to minus 15. So this we have arranged in this particular format. Okay. So the next thing is that you need to arrange, or you need to arrange this in a certain way. Okay. So x1 will be by this first equation, you will find x1 is nothing but 20 minus 2x2 minus 4x3 upon 9. Then x2 is equal to 6 minus x1 minus 4x3 upon 10, and x3 is equal to here there is a mistake, okay, from my side. Instead of this 20, it has to be minus 15. Okay, here you please note, this has to be minus 15. Okay, this has to be minus 15. Okay, so this is minus 15 over here. So because of that, minus 15 minus 2x1 plus 4x2 upon 10, this is the x3. Okay, so x1, x2 and x3 can be written by using the initial, by starting initial value as x1 and x2 and x3 is equal to 0. So x1 will be given by putting x2 and x3 as 0. X2 can be calculated by using the current value of x1 which you just have calculated, that is 2.22, and x3 as 0. X3 can be calculated by using current values of x1 and x2 which we have just calculated, that is 2.22 and 0.3778. So it will give you x3. In iteration number 2, you will use the value of x1, x2 and x3. Okay. So in iteration number 1, while calculation of x1, you will use the value of x2 and x3. Okay, the previous value of x2 and x3 which you have calculated in the previous iterations. While calculation of x2, you will use the current value which you have calculated for x1 and the value of x3 which you have calculated in the previous approximation. So that will give you 1.0238 as the answer. While calculation of x3, you will use the current values of x1 and x2 which you have just calculated in the same iteration. That is, you will use x1 as 2.9353 and x2 as 1.0238 to calculate the x3. Now in iteration number 3, you will use the previous value of x2 and x3 to get the value of x1. Okay, then while calculation of x2, you will use x1 as 2.7403 and x3 as minus 1.6775 to get x2. Okay, now in finding value of x3, you will use x1 as 2.7403 and you will use x2 as 0.9970. You will get value of x3. Then in iteration number 4, while calculation of value of x1, you will use x2 as 0.9970 and you will use x3 as minus 1.6493. You will get value of x1 for the current iteration. Then you will use value of x1 as 2.7337 and value of x3 as minus 1.4693 to get the x2. Similarly, you will use the value of x1 as 2.7337 and x2 as 0.9863 to get the value of x3. So this iteration number 4. Similarly, we will continue for iteration number 5, 6. Okay, and after iteration number 6, we observed that the difference between two consecutive values of x1 in the two iteration is less than 0.001. So we stopped there and we declared that these are the answers. Okay, now it may be possible that now this iteration method, you could see that it involves more calculation, it consumes more time, and sometimes it is not possible to converge the method. That is not, it is not every time that you are going to get the solution of the system. Okay, such problem I am going to give you in as an assignment. Okay, that particular thing is called a divergence. Okay, now when you get the correct answers after certain iteration by starting certain initial value, that you can call as a convergence. But when you don't get the values which you have desired and you are going to get a random value after each iteration for x1, x2 and x3, then you can say that system is becoming a divergent system. That is, it is not possible to find the answer to that system by the initial guess which you have taken as a reference. So under such situation, you need to change your initial guesses. So this kind of a situation occurs in Gauss elimination, this Gauss-Seidel method many times. That is why it is not that much, or it is not as good as Gauss elimination method. Okay, after all, it's a iterative method, and iterative method comes with its own uh, inherent pitfalls. So this is up to this in this particular video up to the method. In next video we shall study the program. Thank you.